Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'll tell you another story. It's the story not from philosophical perspective, but it will come from like a historical perspective. You may, from time to time, you may hear about some saying that those who are engaged with faith counseling and fortune telling, all these people, they will suffer punishment by the end. Even the fortune teller themselves tell you, I will suffer something. Why? Because I released some of the message from the skies. Some of the message from the sky. So, because I know the message, and I convey the message to you, and based on this message, I give you advice how to enhance your faith. Alright, so whenever you come across this saying, you will be quite surprised, saying that, wow, those person who stand in front of me saying that they will be punished due to the release of the sky's message. You feel them very powerful and wonderful. It's a miracle for those people who can manage to understand the message of the skies, and then also know thoroughly about our faith, and then tell you, and then they suffer punishment on behalf of you. It carries some Jesus sense, right? Am I right? Jesus sacrificed himself to save the people from the crime, from the sin, right? Not the crime, from the sin. Can a fortune teller do that? Can a faith counselor do that? Yes, it seems that they do that. Because from the social level, if you see the people who practice these sort of things, you always find them, they're not very well off. Except some of the very high profile, very successful people. Okay, all these people, they are good, they are the fast runner. But in majority of the people, you find that they're not really that good in their life. Some of them may be very handicapped. Some of them may be very poor. Some of them may suffer very high setback in love, all these sort of things. So it seems to justify telling you that, okay, because you released this message of the skies, so now it's the punishment put on you by the God. So it is the result. Logical. If we put it in a more rational way to consider, firstly, question is, if those people will tell you they can release all the message from the skies and they suffer punishment, then why should they continue to do that? Is it logical to continue to receive punishment by doing something? Why don't you stop it? This is first question. And the second question is, why people have a lot well off in this kind of practice? We put it in a more historical explanation, right? By a book called the Modern Rise of Modern China is the English version called. It talks to you about the past 100 and something years. It's written by professional Emmanuel C.Y. Hsu, who is an authority on Chinese modern history. So from the book, it tells you about what's happened in China, particularly after the Opium War happened in the midst of 19th century. So from that time on, China was repeatedly defeated by Western powers. So accumulating all this weakness it created a perception to Chinese people saying that all traditional Chinese cultural products, they are outdated and useless. So faith counseling and fortune telling, they are one kind of Chinese cultural products. So from that time on, those are well educated, those who are competent, those who are aggressive, they won't participate in this sort of cultural activities because they think that all Western things are more superior than the Chinese things. So who will practice this sort of Chinese cultural activities? Those who are underprivileged, who are not that well off, who suffer setback in their life. All these people, they can't make a better living, and then they, in order to maintain survival, they participate in these sort of things. So with this group of people, it will give you a perception saying that, oh, okay, those who participate in this sort of industry, they are not that well off. They are not educated, they are illiterate, etc. So this social phenomenon, in fact, it turned to be a cause of the fortune telling and faith counseling. But in fact, it turned to be a result of faith counseling and fortune telling. But in fact, to put it in historical perspective, they're the cause of the perception. So if you turn it around and look at it from a historical way, then you understand why people are not that well off through these activities. It provides a better explanation, a better social science perspective explanation telling you why these people are that underprivileged. So it is the saying that gives you another perspective so that you don't rely on super studious thinking that people release the message of the skies will suffer a penalty. Okay, so this is another saying, and wish you enjoy it, and see you next time for another topic for your enjoyment. Thank you.